the authority to require restoration. We do have a property standards bylaw which would apply to built form resources if they were vacant heritage buildings.
Okay, that's the point, that even if they were designated, they could still be left there and could be demolished.
If they were designated, they could make an application to demolish the buildings. That would have to be considered by the Heritage Kitchener Committee. It would then have to be considered by council, and the owner could appeal that decision to the Conservation Review Board, which would have a hearing, prepare a report with a recommendation, and that recommendation would come back to council for final decision.
And if it went that route and the review board came back and said, yes, there's heritage significance, at that point, though, what happens? Can they order the developer to restore them, or what?
At that point, the recommendation of the Conservation Review Board would come back to council, and council would have to decide whether they agree or disagree with the recommendation of the Conservation Review Board. If, as you've suggested, it was chosen to agree with a recommendation to designate, the city cannot require the owner to restore those buildings. They can only enforce the minimum property